Hey you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Ah, meow. Oh, Gary the Snail too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love The Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh. And Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned. My friend's going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
It's Tuesday and the Wicked Horror Show is here, and that was Deadly Grounds Coffee, our sponsor. Awesome people. And we say this every show, but now more than ever, we need to support indie artists, indie professionals, and indie businesses. It was just Small Business Saturday, and they're a small mom and pop shop here in Connecticut. Absolutely love them. Information is show notes down below or up above. And with us today, we have Kevin.
What's going on, everybody?
Tony.
What
Tony,
is going
who the hell
on?
are all these people here?
Yeah, we do actually have a full house of people, a bunch of people from the upcoming movie Massacre Academy. So I don't know which way you're going to rotate the camera.
I'll try to keep up with you.
Leo,
so start naming names and I'll hit the button.
All right. So the director of the film is Mark Cantu. Hopefully I said that right.
That is
all right. We're horrible with pronunciation. So
you are
just
horrible with pronunciation. Okay.
Leo too. I took over Leo. So
Right.
I mean, we never heard you try to pronounce names there.
All right, I'll do it.
But anyway, two of the actresses in the movie, Sierra Mitchell and Christina Krakowski. Hopefully I said that right.
Yep, you did.
And producer on the film, we've had him on before, Daniel John Kearney. Hopefully
that was perfect.
Okay, well, thank you. Even if I got it wrong, I'm sure you're trying to make me feel better.
Yep.
But like I said, they're all here for the movie Massacre Academy coming out in 2021. Hopefully that's a better year, of course. But Mark, since you're director, you want to talk a little about it?
Was that for me? I think the line's cutting out a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's for you.
Yeah. So, so the movie, like I said, is called Massacre Academy. We're just currently finishing up probably day 10 of shooting right now. And we've got some great stuff that we've already got in the can, essentially. It's an 80s slasher movie. It's a throwback to everything that we grew up on. We've got a lot of great laughs, a lot of violence, which is always kind of the hallmark, obviously, of 80s slasher movies. But I think we've got something that's a little bit different than what was kind of typical for the genre. We've got strong, like really strong, kind of a core set of female characters. It's not just one. We've got about 4 or 5. So I think that's one of the things that kind of definitely makes us different. And Sierra and Christina can actually attest to that. So, but yeah, we're probably about a little over halfway done shooting with the movie right now, and it's going to be great. We're aiming for maybe, I want to say June or July of 2021, something like that. So God willing, if there's any sort of a vaccine or anything like that, hopefully we'll have a big premiere with about 500, 1,000, 1 million people, maybe. Ooh. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Going back and going back and looking at, I was looking at your director reel, like earlier today, and you kind of you dip your toe in a bunch of different genres. Is this? It may not be your first like take at horror, but I noticed you had like some superhero stuff and some other like looking more like action-y kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think the line's probably breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. I was talking about your directing and like how you've kind of dipped your toe in multiple genres. Do you have one that you specifically enjoy the most? Yes, no.
Not really. I mean, it's. I started off. I started off when I was back in Texas in San Antonio. I kind of got a reputation for being an action director. A lot of the short films that we did either had cops or detectives or some variation of action. So I got a pretty big reputation for that, and I got comfortable doing that. But then I took a break probably about 2 years ago, and kind of reevaluated like what I wanted to do, and what kind of excited me as a filmmaker, to be honest with you. So, I kind of really just took a look in the mirror and was like, what gets me up in the morning? And I've always been a huge 80s nerd. I've always been kind of a throwback anyway. I've never felt like I've been part of any sort of like modern, type of filmmakers club or anything. So the moment I looked at that and I was like, you know what, I enjoy the practical effects. I enjoy actually doing it as opposed to, doing CGI and stuff. And that kind of really narrowed the field down for me. And the moment we did one short where we had like a werewolf and, you know, a throat gag where there's blood coming out, you fall in love with the practicals, and that's that. So like I said, I feel like just now I'm starting to kind of find my way with making horror movies, and it feels great. It feels natural. It feels right. So
awesome. Well, we got a bunch of people watching right now. We do have the trailer. And if you want to learn more about Massacre Academy, there's a bunch of information for all our guests down below or up above. We'll play this a couple times tonight, but figured we have a ton of people watching right now, and we'll get this to you right now.
Henry Lee Palmer killed 15 people in 3 days. You didn't have to, but you chose to stay on a campus that has death around every corner for you. I just need you to understand why.
Remember last time?
He sank to the bottom of a lake and drowned.
Sweet.
They look very intense.
Yeah, it does. It looks
I want to
really
see that
cool.
movie. I want to see it.
Yeah. You were talking about the one with the werewolf. I was watching, like I was saying earlier, the director's reel, and I agree. Like the practical effects they just looked really good, and it made me really want to track it down.
Yeah.
Is there a place for people where they can go to see some of your other films?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think the line broke up a little bit, but I think you asked about like the effects for the werewolf short, but like Last Man. We've actually been blessed with Miranda Lynn Chapman. She's our makeup artist. She has been absolutely fantastic. We met on Last Man, and that was the first day that we worked together. It was like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Let's go tear somebody's throat out together. And you know, we had a dinner after that, and like we just kind of, you know, fell in love with each other, and it's been fantastic ever since. So we were lucky enough. Right after that, I came up with the idea for Massacre Academy. I was like, hey, you know, let's maybe think about this as our next feature together. And you know, I literally drew her a picture of what kind of became the Carney clown mask. And I was like, I think this is the guy that, you know, we want to have in our next movie. And without spoiling anything, because I fell in love with what Miranda did on that day. There's one gag, and Christina and Sierra know exactly what it is, but there's one gag that we did probably 2 weeks ago that I drew out for Miranda, and I was like, that is what I want to do 2 years from now. And we were lucky enough that she stuck with us. She was there, and we literally got to do that one gag that's going to probably have people barfing at the premiere, but it's going to be worth it. So
I'll accept that challenge, and if I barf, I'll let you know. So
you're going to throw up. You're going to throw up.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of pretty bad stuff. But so you have Sierra and Christina here with us tonight as well. And looking at the IMDb's, Sierra, is this your first movie?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Okay, so I actually have just been doing like community musical theater for like my entire life. So I was like probably 5 or 6, and it was actually super crazy because I did a show with Jess, who plays Kris in the movie, and we did a show together. She was friends on Facebook with Mark, and Mark messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, do you have an actor's reel I can do?" And I was like, "I don't, but I can find something for you to do because I have no idea what an actor's reel is." And so then he was sending me some stuff, and I sent it to him. And I mean, it's been an awesome experience because I've never done something like this before. So it's different, but it's like a good different. So like it's been so much fun.
Nice. That's awesome. And Christina, have you worked with Mark in the past, or is it the first time working with him?
Yeah, so this is actually my first time getting to work with Mark. I met him at a film festival kind of thing, and then a few months later, he messaged me, and we ended up, working together on this, and it's been really fun. It's been an awesome experience. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. And now, have you done much horror in the past, or is this
not too much. So I've done a lot of like short films and student films. This is definitely like the biggest project I've done.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
It's been really exciting.
Yeah, and it looks really cool. So I'm sure that's the other thing too. Sometimes if you're working on a project and maybe it doesn't look like it's like, it looks all right, whatever. But this, like, as soon as I saw the trailer, when Tony sent the trailer, I was like, yeah, I'm sold. This looks awesome. Yeah.
So the big question, Christina, is you obviously have an awesome setup and great mic. Do you do any voiceover work, or do you do streaming yourself, podcasting? What do you do?
So I would love to do streaming and podcasting. I haven't started yet. I do, obviously. I have some of the materials for it. Usually, actually, this green screen and stuff is used for like self-tapes when I send in for auditions.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I have going on right now.
Nice. That's cool. You put that much into it. That's awesome. And so how did Daniel get involved in this whole thing? Like, how did this all happen?
So 2020, here we go.
Yeah.
And but anyways, just at home, I heard about the film, and I reached out to Mark, and we got to talking, and just wanted to become involved, and he really he's kept me involved all along the way. That's how we kind of started working together, and it's just been awesome. I mean, he's really really excited about this film. It's awesome, as you can tell by the trailer. And I just wanted to get on board, so we talked, and I was able to get on board, and was really excited. And like we were talking about before, he actually cast me in a small part in the film, and then here we go again with the COVID, so that kind of put an end to that. But for the time being, but that's how I got involved. Is just basically I heard about the film, and I just really loved Mark's excitement and passion about the entire film. And as you can see from the trailer, I think it's going to be very very successful, and it's very exciting to see.
So this is I think this is the second time you've been on that you've been a producer on a movie where you couldn't get there because of COVID.
Second time.
2020 needs to definitely get better so you can go hang out on that.
Second time.
Oh man, that stinks. But yeah, I've been talking a lot, Tony.
No, I mean, I was definitely, once I saw the Daniel reach out, and it was one of those things. I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, okay, this definitely is, what I'm used to and what I enjoy, different genre films. And it was one of those things where I think we've mentioned it many a times on here. I think this is because of the whole COVID thing. You got to look at it like the positives and the negatives, because now the mainstream movies aren't, being made either. So people are going to be wanting to see, a lot more, looking into independent stuff. Now you have Shudder and you have all this stuff. So I think, especially something along these lines, where I think most of the time horror fans like the slasher genre, I guess you want to call it. But I think they're going to be, especially when they see the trailer for that, they're going to be clamoring for something new. So I think this one will definitely be right up a lot of people's alley, to tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
But that's coming from me. So
yeah, that's coming from you. It's going to come from everyone else too. But I don't know where I'm going with this.
But with the two actresses, Sierra, now I can't even think. My mind's all mashed up. But did you have to watch any movies beforehand? Like, did you have a 80s slasher reel? Like, watch any specific movies to get into character?
Can't hear.
Yeah, Sierra, I don't know if it's your mic or something, but it's like really, really low.
She was having some audio troubles earlier.
Okay.
There should be a gear icon, and if you want to click on that, make sure it's using your headset mic. And while you do that, same question to you, Christina. Do you have to check out any 80s slashers? And if you did, which ones did you enjoy or stuck out for you?
Yeah, so I just kind of, to be honest, I went on like an entire horror binge, not just strictly to 80s, but just like I looked at a lot of movies that have like strong female, final girls. I rewatched one of my favorites, which is Halloween 1978, the original one. And I just kind of took inspiration from that because my character, she starts off not really knowing where she fits in. But then as the movie progresses, she kind of finds her footing. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was inspired by that, becoming a stronger character. So I really wanted to watch movies that had, a strong female lead to it.
Nice. And there's a lot out there.
Oh, there's tons. So much. Yeah.
Yeah. So many like just awesome like final girls. That's why the term final girl, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, Sierra, did you get the mic working? No.
I think it got worse.
Oh no! Unplug the earphone.
Anyways, Sierra with a broken microphone. Oh man! But anyways, so one of the people that's on the cast as well, and this is someone who just won a contest with us. But Shawn Phillips is in the movie as well.
Cool Duder
himself. Yes.
Oh, hello.
Oh, there you go.
Can we hear? There she is.
Cool.
Now we can't hear you at all. You were there for a second.
No, I think she's still there.
Wait, say something.
Am I?
It's kind of delayed, but we hear you.
It's delayed, but we can hear you. No, it's delayed, but we can hear you.
No.
Now it's freezing up. Oh.
I think character's she has a lot of like a lot of movies. So like get into on
freezing.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, it was freezing up quite a bit. So we heard bits and pieces.
Oh my god.
We just didn't want to interrupt you because we were going. We were just like, oh, let's just listen.
No, you've done this before. So.
Okay. But anyways, how did while she's getting this figured out, how did Shawn Phillips get involved in the movie?
So actually, Shawn messaged once we actually had the Indiegogo campaign kind of go up. We kind of got to talking, and I personally never met Shawn before. I'd been aware of him, but I hadn't actually talked to him. So he reached out to us and was like, "Hey, let's see if we can kind of work together on this movie." And we added him to the cast, and I think that's initially how Daniel got involved. I think, or that was one of the things that we had talked about, having Daniel come in and actually do a scene with Shawn as well. But yeah, the whole COVID thing just kind of put the kibosh on that. But yeah, Shawn has been amazing. We got to finally shoot with him for 2 days about 2 weeks ago, and he was just fantastic. Killed it on the first take. Every single time you're like, well, yeah, that's why he's a pro. That's why he's amazing.
So a lot of stuff. It's pretty funny. Like he pops up, like he'll just randomly be in a movie that I see. But he's the reason I got into YouTube originally. Like he's been around forever, and he's the entry, like the first bit of crack for YouTube for a lot of people.
He's the gateway drug.
Exactly.
And I gotta interrupt, guys. I gotta say this. I always make a joke to all my friends when I go to the cons and stuff like that. I always say this: I am Shawn's first fan. I'm telling you from day one.
Really?
Day one. I'm telling you. I someday I can't wait to meet him. But I'm kidding. I was his first fan. Like I think it was like 2004, 2005 when YouTube first came out. Some of his first videos that have like 200,000 views now, 500,000.
He's just sitting on his couch.
So that's all it is. I can tell you. I mean, I was his biggest fan. I know it's like his favorite movies, everything. Like he got me into like collecting the Blu-rays. I got like 2,000 Blu-rays, like, and DVDs and stuff like that. He got me into YouTube. He got me into actually like not being nervous about trying to get involved, with the cons and horror conventions and stuff like that, and films. And that guy is the man, and he's absolutely hilarious. And I look forward to meeting him someday.
I would love to meet him someday too. Hopefully that'll happen. I don't know how it will because I'm not involved in movies, but hopefully someday. But he's just we had a giveaway and he was one of the winners last week. So
The special.
the special.
I will
Actually,
also
we're
tell
getting
you
more
guys,
copies.
he's the sweetest guy in the world, and he's also extremely tall.
Is he really?
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't come
So
across
I'd
that
say, well, at least compared to me, I'm really tiny. So I don't know. You're asking the wrong Lilliputian over here. So
Supposedly him and Wet Movie are both tall.
Really? Sierra, is your mic any better?
Sure.
Hey, we got the last syllable.
Fine.
Tell you what, do you want to maybe restart your computer and come back? Sometimes that fixes it too.
Might be the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, possibly. It worked for Mark. So yeah, just restart the phone and then come back and hopefully.
actually, I switched over to my phone. Yeah, exactly. So
Okay. Anyways, while she's doing that, do you want to play the trailer again, maybe?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, here we go. Trailer for Massacre Academy, and all the information is show notes down below or up above. And here we go.
Henry Lee Palmer killed 15 people in 3 days. You didn't have to, but you chose to stay on a campus that has death around every corner for you. I just need you to understand why.
Remember last time?
He sank to the bottom of a lake and drowned.
And Cat Patton says, looks amazing. Can't wait to watch.
Love you, Cat.
Now, Christina.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You said you didn't do much horror beforehand. Now, did this, being on set, did it, scare you away from any horror films, doing more horror films, or did it kind of make you want to do more? Because I'm sure there's a, might scare people away or maybe draw them in. We heard, many first-time actors in the horror genre, they're like, oh, it was so much fun, I want to do some more. What is your reaction to it?
Yeah, I definitely think I want to do more. I really have enjoyed it so far. It's definitely different than any other set I've been on because there's so much action to it. It's not just, back and forth dialogue. There's all kinds of like crazy fun action scenes. It's definitely like some days are very exhausting, but like I love it. It kind of is like a really cool adrenaline rush on some of the days that we film. This is something I definitely could see myself doing more of.
Nice. Well, the good thing is that the horror community is very supportive. So, if you start doing that stuff more or whatever, once the cons happen, you'll be surprised how quickly it may take off.
Yeah.
Especially with a movie looking as cool as it looks. So are you currently still doing fundraising for the movie, or what is the situation like in the production side?
Well, the Indiegogo, I think, stopped maybe a few months ago. But I mean, obviously, if we've talked with like private investors, we've still had people come up to us that we've been shooting on location, and they've kind of come up and said, I know you're using my property, I know you're using our facilities, but we're still looking for investment. some of those private conversations. So yeah, I mean, if people are wanting to try and get a piece of the proverbial pie, then yeah, we're always willing to talk and kind of
Nice.
go forward from there. But yeah.
So people
Do
who
we
are out
have
there
Sierra? Is that Sierra?
It is. How's the mic situation?
I don't know. Is it better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay.
So much better.
Oh, bro, I was gonna start crying if it didn't work.
All right, so now we just start over. We just have to start the show over.
The whole thing's gonna start over.
Back to one.
That
Everyone-
5-minute video, and then don't worry.
Back to one.
So I think the question we were trying to get to you before was, did you go and watch any 80s horror movies in preparation for this? And if you did, were there any that your favorites or any actors that your favorites, anything that stood out?
Okay, so I didn't really watch any like 80s horror. I watched more like just 80s films because my character is a filmmaker in the movie. And so she mentions a lot of different like films, and she mentions a couple TV shows that are like that were made back then, and I'm not that old, so like I don't know any of them. So I went back, like there's not a lot on like streaming platforms like Netflix and stuff. So I didn't know anything about them, so I had to like look up like little clips and like trailers. I know the biggest one that it's not my line anymore, but they were talking about Cagney and Lacey, and I watched a few episodes of Cagney and Lacey because I was like, I have no idea what this is. I also didn't know how to say it the first time that I was reading the line, so like I didn't even know. But I did watch one of those. So I mean, I didn't watch like horror, but I am a big horror fan. But I'm a more modern day horror fan than an old horror fan. So. But yeah.
I just want to point out how old that whole statement made me feel.
You guys keep saying old. Yeah, stop saying old. Stop.
Yeah,
please.
And you know what? And you know what, Kevin? I appreciate the time on the show, but Sierra told me she watched about 100 80s movies, and this is the first time I'm hearing that she didn't. So I'm going to give you an exclusive. Sierra, you're fucking fired. Over. We're done.
What do you mean?
I love you. I'm just kidding. I love you so much. I'm just playing.
Just a fair warning. Well, not a warning, but IMDb has a streaming service that has a lot of 80s shows on it.
So Hardcastle.
How is that a warning?
Scarecrow, Mrs. King. Let's do it.
Yeah, Hardcastle McCormick rocked. I love that. He used to drive what, in Florida?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm just.
I haven't even heard of these movies. Like, what are you speaking of?
That was a TV show. So.
Okay, well,
In the
well, I
same
never heard of
Cagney
it.
and Lacey. But anyways, so what were the 80s movies that you watched in prep? Like were these like first time watches? Because I'm assuming they were probably pretty legendary movies if you're referencing them.
Oh my god. I have to think. I don't have the best memory. I really don't have the best memory. I don't remember, but I know one of them. I think. Oh my god! I think you're gonna be mad at me, Mark.
Do you need some help?
Yes, please.
Well, I know one of the films was mentioned was Empire of the Sun.
Did I hear 80s movies references? My line's cutting out a little bit.
I wasn't gonna say that one. It's one that me and Jess say.
Top Gun.
Top Gun. That's what it is.
So you hadn't seen Top Gun, and you had to watch it for this. Is it like, 80s movies are awesome. So did you realize how great 80s movies were? Or is it something like, oh, look at these old people? Tom Cruise was 12 in this movie. Whatever.
Not gonna lie, I just thought it was strange. But like, I mean, it was good, But like, also, I didn't really watch the whole thing because it was all on YouTube, and it was like, like the little movie clips on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I watched. I didn't watch the entire thing, so like I literally have no clue.
So you just watched the volleyball scene over and over again, and
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, hopefully I'm not ruining anything with the movie, but yeah, that's pretty funny that you had to watch all these things. It just it makes me feel very old. I appreciate that.
In case we're feeling young today, Kevin.
Oh, that's my wife makes sure that doesn't happen ever. So okay.
So we asked Christina before, Sierra, being on this set, I mean, being your first film, do you see yourself doing more horror after, or did this kind of scare you away and you want to do maybe more like lovey-dovey drama or something like that?
Oh no, I'm definitely doing more horror. I've been a fan, like even like you can ask like anybody that I know. I'm like a huge horror fan. Like, so like every year for Halloween, I'm something dead. Like I have to be something dead, like a zombie, something. Like I love everything scary, everything horror. So if I still continue to do film, which I really hope that I still continue to do film because I absolutely fell in love with it. I definitely think horror is like the way that I would like to go.
That's good. We like to hear that.
What's your favorite film?
I was going to say, what would you say your favorite film is?
Oh my god! Don't even get me started. I love the Conjuring universe, like The Conjuring, The Conjuring 2, The Nun, Annabelle, all that jazz. Yep.
Okay. What about you, Christina? Do you have a favorite horror film?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not exactly the goriest of films, but I really like The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, it's
yep.
terrifying.
Yeah, it was. I actually didn't see it. It was fairly recent that I saw it for the first time, and it was the only movie that really made me so like suspenseful, and I was like on the edge of my seat, and just like the acting performance and the chemistry with the actors, phenomenal.
I've seen the movie a ridiculous amount of times, and every time with the tree air fresheners, where right when he's about to like jump up.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, oh my god, here we go, happening. And then like when they're knocking on the door and they think they found like,
oh, I know.
I know it's not there. I know it, but still I'm just like, oh my god, we got him. They got him. And I'm like, I've seen this movie like at least a dozen times. Like, I don't know, whatever.
I didn't realize they made so many sequels to that movie.
What, Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah.
It's like 4.
3 or 4, right?
Well, there was also a prequel. There was a prequel that was
that's a 4th.
An 80s there was 80s TV made for TV.
Well, then they have the series Hannibal.
That's true.
They had the what, 3 seasons or something.
Why are we talking about Hannibal? We should be
I
talking
love Hannibal. So Mark, we're talking about
You know what
horror
else has
movies and
blood?
stuff.
Massacre Academy. How about that?
True.
So talking about all horror movies, was there one that you watched that you're like, I do have to make my own, version of it for Massacre Academy? Did you watch like, maybe like Student Bodies or something along those lines, and you're like, I gotta make that?
I don't know about Student Bodies.
Yeah. Honestly, like my big thing, because initially, I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I'm not that. I don't feel that old, Sierra. But anyway, but yeah, I think obviously, I mean, I grew up with like Halloween. I think one of the other movies that really kind of influenced me, and it's not necessarily a slasher movie, but it's definitely probably one of the best in the 80s, is Aliens. And I mean, you're talking about Ripley, just kind of being kind of the quintessential badass, and that's kind of more in the ballpark of where I wanted to wind up with Massacre Academy. So yeah, so that was kind of my inspiration for everything, even though we're dealing with the slasher genre.
Nice. Now, is it? I mean, obviously the movie's not completed yet, but is this something that you're looking to possibly do sequels to, or is it going to be standalone film? Do you know?
We've talked about it in private. We've talked about hopefully kind of leaving some room for maybe a next one. I will tell you right now, do not ask Sierra about her ideas for a sequel, because we will be here forever and ever. Yeah, we're not going down that road.
Don't do it.
She could just use it to research.
Don't open that door.
Don't open the door. Don't open the door.
Nope.
So this 1 hour podcast will turn into like a 24-hour podcast?
Yes.
We were asking her,
What
make
was
your
that,
mic
that last part?
get off you. Yeah.
Now I was going to say this 1 hour podcast will turn into a 24-hour, world record podcast.
Yeah.
We'll be here for a while. Yeah.
After we see the movie, I will be curious to her thoughts. You should do like a special feature that's a whole additional like Blu-ray just on its own of just her ideas for a sequel.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll have 20 minutes behind the scenes just of her, just like, and then this happens, and then this happens, but the killer is really this, and blah 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 blah.
Yes.
That's all it's gonna be. That's all it's gonna be. We'll come back and we'll do a whole podcast for you guys, where it's just Sierra just talking about her ideas for the. She's just gonna pitch you guys the whole second second movie. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Plan. Make it so.
Will there be are
today?
Are you planning on a physical release? Physical media?
We hopefully that's definitely in the cards. I mean, obviously with COVID, it's put a new wrinkle in how things are distributed and things and such. So hopefully we'll have, like I said, obviously VOD is definitely in the cards, but we'd like to have, like I said, just because of how awesome, they've really just, like, everybody across the board has just killed it in this movie so far. We want to have a huge premiere. We want to have a big screening once the whole COVID thing is resolved, hopefully. And then after that, like I said, hopefully when we get with the correct distributor, then, like I said, they'll give us a physical release on DVD and across the world, and kind of go forward from there. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know it's whatever, but just having Shawn Phillips in the movie, if he was able to hold up a physical copy and be like, "Hey, this movie that I'm in," you'd be surprised. There'd be a lot of people that'd be trying to find that.
It helps so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So either way, I mean, I think people will still check it out. I mean, they'll check it out because it looks awesome, anyways. Like, I didn't even go through the IMDb, and I saw him for a second. I'm like, hey, I think that was Shawn Phillips, and but even before that, I'm like, this looks awesome. So yeah. I don't know. The trailer is really good. It's put together really well, and the lighting is really good. Like, everything is just good. Yeah. It's something. Obviously, you have a history. Like, I was going through your YouTube as well, and I saw you did a lot of commercial work in Texas, so that was interesting as well. That was a lot of people with vans that come to your house and fix things. Love that stuff. I'm like, oh, you went from that to that.
Yeah.
Good move.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in? Like, how long have you, like, some of those were going back like 2007. How long have you been, like, working in film?
I mean, honestly, like every other person in my position, I've really just been doing like short films and stuff like that with my brother. When I was a kid growing up, I actually started doing stage work. I was an actor for a long time, doing theater. And then probably about 98 or so, when I was in college, I wound up you get to that point where you kind of start to think, well, maybe I can do this better than some of the other people that I'm watching. So, and I kind of took the bull by the horns and grabbed a camera. And I was in that point where I was kind of messing around with cameras. I really wasn't, thinking about lenses and choices and stuff like that. And I honestly didn't really start taking everything seriously until about 2007, when I had the chance to do my first official feature. And that's when I was like, okay, I better really fucking hunker down and try to figure out the whole animal of, making a feature from A to B to C. Mm-hmm. And to me, honestly, it's a huge buzz every time you're on set and making a feature, because there's something to be said, for short films and music videos and commercials. But it's a different gear altogether if you're trying to do a full 90-minute narrative, and you got to be able to hold people's attention and not get boring, and have some twists and turns here and there. Like I said, otherwise it's just you're sitting there just kind of having people nod off, and that's probably the worst thing to see.
Yeah.
Which I have had happen. So.
Oh, have you really? Well. I mentioned it before, but I think the audio was cutting out at the time. But is there a case where you have, like, your short films and stuff that you've done in the past, like where people can go check that stuff out? Are they online anywhere?
Say it again. I think the line broke up a little bit.
And again, the internet doesn't want me to ask this question, is what it is. I was saying, your past work, like, is there anywhere where someone can go if we want, like, if I wanted to check out some of your older stuff, is that available to check out anywhere?
Yeah, I think I'm missing like half the question. I didn't hear it.
Well, maybe I'll have a better connection. He's asking. Your past movies, where can people find them?
So my movies, we've actually had a lot of releases onto DVD through Walmart, Family Video. They can find them on Amazon. Like I said, there's a lot of VOD stuff out there for us. So yeah, like I said, we've been lucky enough with my last 3 features where we've been able to kind of get them into a physical release at Walmart, Target, Family Video, places like that. And then get some decent exposure for each one. So, but yeah, like I said, this one, even in the middle of shooting this one in particular right now, it feels different. It feels better. It feels right. So, like I said, I feel like this is going to have a wider release. It's going to have a lot more play once we're done with it, because we definitely have some stuff where we're pushing the envelope. So
nice. I'm looking forward to it. You're gonna have to try the other stuff and go broke.
And the one thing that I think
I'll send you guys some stuff after the chat. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah.
But I think one of the things that I like about it,
but I'll send it to
you. With the practical effects as opposed to CGI, I think that's one of the things that, especially me, I'm sure Kevin and Leo, doesn't really watch horror movies, so he might be. But practical as opposed to like CGI and stuff, I appreciate that much more, because especially nowadays with a lot of the horror movies, they kind of rely, it seems like sometimes, on the CGI, where, you look at Adam Green and the Hatchet movies and stuff like that, whereas practical effects, it makes it seem so much, realer, and it just has a different feel to it. So, hearing you talk about practical effects, is making me even, more excited for the film. So.
Yeah, Mark has really kept me involved all the way going back. I think like 4 or 5 months now, and he's given me a sneak peek on all the practical effects. Let me tell you right now, he takes a lot of pride in that, and I think you're gonna be very happy when you see the practical effects. It's I mean, it looks awesome. It looks awesome. It's CGI cannot even compare. No way.
And it wouldn't really fit in a movie that taking place in the 80s as well. So it's definitely the right choice. Sometimes if they can enhance it a little bit, I mean, I can forgive that. But sometimes if it's just like, okay, you didn't even try, you just put like a weird filter on somebody. That's all.
That's right. Stuff looks awesome.
Well,
yeah.
I would say one thing just to kind of jump off that. Yeah. I will say, like I said, we did it at some point. We kind of figure out like what kind of tone we're going to go with. Are we going to do some practical, some CGI if we have to? And my thought process was like, I want to do everything practical on set on the day, because the way we're going to light everything, like you can't replace that. And then more importantly, when you guys are talking about like Hatchet, and then Terrifier, those were 2 movies that we kind of sat down and just went, okay, these are kind of the standard, and I know about them, but I want to see what we should be measuring ourselves up against in terms of practicals. And we may not have budgets, to do 16 or 17 different gags, but the 5 or 6 gags that we do have, in my estimation, are right up there. So that's, to me, like I said, and I know that's saying a lot, but that's what we aimed for. So like I said, so those were definitely the standard bearers for us in terms of modern filmmaking. So
there's both of those movies. They're great movies in general, but they're like that is like a selling point for a lot of people. Like there's gifs of Victor Crowley ripping people's heads off and stuff like that, and just like it's phenomenal. Like it's like, so that I don't know. And there's gifs of, we've had David Howard Thornton on a couple times, and like I told him, like if you do a search for Art the Clown or whatever, and there's gifs of him, and it's crazy. And he's like, really? I didn't even realize that. And it's
we tried to aim for that with at least 2 of our gags. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'll make the GIF. I'll put them up. I'll just send them out.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. So as far as the practical effects go with Christina and Sierra, especially with Sierra, because this is your first movie, Christina, have you ever had to deal with this stuff too? And how was it to deal with like the gore? I mean, I don't know what you guys have been involved in yet, obviously, but I don't know. How do you get that blood off? I don't know.
Oh man, yeah. I've never had to deal with it like at this scale. We not to spoil anything, there are some days on set where we have missed out on seeing, some of the different gags and things that he's been working on. But I mean, there are days where you will leave set and you'll be covered in blood. And you got to throw the clothes right in the wash because that stuff, you don't know if it's going to come out or not.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting. And again, I also appreciate that he is doing, very practical stuff instead of just CGI. I think it adds a new level to it. And it's something that from as an actor's standpoint of view, I like to see it because it's it's right there in front of me. And I'm like, yep, that's there. Instead of having to imagine it. And it just adds a different level to it.
Yeah, definitely. And with Sierra, this being your first movie, I can't imagine what you were expecting going in. But how was it dealing with the practical effect for you?
I was so excited. You have no idea how excited I was. I really haven't gotten involved with a bunch of the practical effects and stuff. I haven't gotten to do that yet, but I know from a few people that two people there in the film, they're it's very interesting because they will tell me stuff and they're oh yeah, just so you know, you have to really scrub to take it off or throw your clothes in the cold wash for 3 times. So I'm excited. Don't get me wrong, I'm so excited. But I'm also very interested because I haven't had happen to me yet. I've had probably one thing done to me and it really wasn't that bad. It kind of came off on my ride home. But I haven't really done any of that. But all my friends, the friends that I have in the movie, they're saying that it's interesting, and I'm very, very excited for that.
I can imagine, especially now, with everything that's going on, when you're done on the set, you're covered in blood, and you have to drive home, and it's all right, I'm covered in blood, I'm driving home. Oh, I need to get gas. You have a mask on, and your cup of gas covered in blood. Just waving at people. That'd be great. I would want to do it just for that. Just be I gotta go get a coffee now. This is great.
Christina, did you say that happened?
It does. Well, I mean, not to me, but I had a friend who drove home and she was covered in blood and she actually got pulled over. And they were very concerned, but with some explaining, everything was all right.
Yeah.
But it was made for a great story.
Did you play it up with the cops? Or hands were shaking when they looked through their window?
I think she was scared because she wasn't expecting to get pulled over. She's yeah, I'll just go home. I'll wash it off. And then, yeah.
Yeah, but it's 2020, so probably everyone's oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Please start out in the car, ma'am.
Yeah. Do I have to look at my face? I was eating a jelly donut. I don't know.
Wait.
Anyways, that was bad. Sorry.
It was funny. I giggled a little bit.
Okay.
So,
anyways.
Don't beat yourself up too much.
Can't help it.
But, I mean, it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to because, like I said, besides, no movies really coming out anywhere, it's one that's right up, like I said, I think a lot of people enjoy, especially newer horror fans. I might ask Sierra, but is gore what you're looking for in your horror movies? Are you looking for, jump scare? Well, you said you like The Conjuring, so maybe it's more jump scares. But I know
I'm not really a jump scare girl. Well, my favorite, like I said, my favorite is The Conjuring, but I'm really, really into psychological horror, stuff that gets in your brain, what's that, Hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
I love that kind of stuff. It messes you up. You have to sit there and process it and then play the movie again. I love that kind of horror. I like gore, don't get me wrong. Pouring blood on myself is favorite, but I do like when it messes with your mind. So
yeah, it makes you think.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like gore too, but it's if it's a mixture of gore and that was original and different. That was a different twist on that. That's even cooler.
But I think that's the beauty of horror movies is there's so many different genres. This subgenres of it. I mean, action movies, there's really one cookie cutter thing. But with horror, psychological horror, gore, like ghost stories, and werewolves and stuff. There's so many different subgenres and levels of horror that you can, Silence of the Lambs, some people consider it, a drama, or not drama, but, might not consider it, as gory as some, but it still falls under that thriller. Thriller is another subgenre of horror. So it just fits in every different, spot, I guess.
Yeah. So we're getting pretty close to the hour. Well, I'm sorry.
If you guys, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just gonna say, if you're fans of psychological horror, then I think you guys would be big fans of Massacre Academy 2, starring Sierra Mitchell. Maybe. I don't know.
Special appearances by the Nun and Annabelle and
right.
Yeah.
You heard her, she like
watch out for that one. Watch out for that one. I heard that one really gets in your head.
She's all about the buckets of blood, so you know that you can get away with it. So
Oh my god.
buckets full.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
This is all day. This is all day on set. All day.
Well, speaking of psychological horror, dealing with like massacres and schools and stuff, it could be Carrie. Bring Carrie into the whole situation and stuff. So
that's right.
There you go.
I gotta work that into my script.
Have you seen Carrie? Have you seen it, Sierra?
Oh, Carrie? Have I seen Carrie? Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen Carrie.
Okay, the original. I'm not talking
The
about
original.
Oh yeah, the
one.
original.
Okay. All right, just making sure.
The original
That was
and
the-
the remake. But-
You're like, I have to go get that. You figure it's in the classic film section because it's old. Anyway, I was gonna bring up like where people can go to keep an eye on the progress of the movie. Mark, is there somewhere where you recommend people go to keep their finger on the pulse of what's going on with Massacre Academy?
Of the Massacre Academy, yeah, the Massacre Academy pulse is too important. They can definitely follow us here on Facebook, and then also on Massacre Academy, which is on Instagram. The kids with their IG, Instagram, IG, whatever. I get it all confused.
It's all
but yeah,
beaten with-
Instagram. Yeah, Instagram. We're under Massacre_Academy. I think it is the way it's written out. So, but yeah, they can follow us there. And like I said, we've got plenty of updates every time we're on set. We're always posting shots. And as we get closer to the premiere, we may let out one or two extra little surprises. Who knows? You just have to follow us and find out. I don't know.
Exactly. Just keep That's the pulse. That's what I was saying. You can keep your finger on the pulse of Massacre Academy. You never know what you're gonna
finger the pulse, and it's fine. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is turning, but
it's very dark.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you know where it is turning. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. We do have a bunch of information in the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, for Massacre Academy and all our awesome guests. And we will start with Sierra. Where do you like people interacting with you?
Oh wow. I have an Instagram. It is okayy.sierra. I post on there a lot. I have a TikTok, and that TikTok is simply Sierra1. That's me. I post on there all the time. And Facebook. Those are like literally the 3 apps that I use. So yeah.
Okay. Christina?
I also have an Instagram. It's just at Christina Krakowski. I also have Facebook, and I have a website too, which is just ChristinaKrakowski.com, and you can keep up all of my latest projects and shenanigans there.
Nice.
Daniel.
All right. You could just follow me on Instagram, DJK horror_historian. I always love to talk to everybody, filmmakers, anybody, just to say hello and follow them. Always glad to talk to everybody.
Nice.
Awesome. Mark?
I don't have an Instagram because I'm too old. Apparently, I just communicate by carrier pigeons and shit.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, Sierra.
Love you.
Fucking Sierra. No, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm under Mark Cantu 98, if I'm not mistaken, and just here on Facebook as well under Mark Cantu. So yeah.
No TikTok?
I don't do TikTok. No. You don't want to see this on TikTok. No. You don't want to see this on TikTok.
I had a TikTok for a while.
You don't tick this talk. No.
I love TikTok.
It's an interesting platform, that's for sure. You see a lot of horrible
I've heard,
things, a lot of funny things. There's a separate podcast, nothing related to ours. It's called Your Mom's House, and there's a stand-up comic, Christina Pajinski, and she has this old TikTarded section where she just finds people that are just like their special brand of TikTok, and it's really, really, it's brutal. A lot of people with very few teeth. But yeah, check it out.
Send me that info by carrier pigeon, and I'll look it up. Yeah.
It'll be there by the end of 2021. Nice.
Tony.
You can find me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, whatever have you. Anything movie related, it'll be on Tony Has Nine Fingers. Tony Has Nine Fingers on Twitter, which I hardly ever use. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And, of course, here on The Dorkening, most Tuesdays, Kevin.
A Knuckle on Instagram. Every Tuesday night I'm here. I'm also part of Black and White Fright and Secret Underground Hideout, all of which are on the network. And there's a new Winter Weirdness special that Secret Underground Hideout just put out. It's available on secretundergroundhideout.com. And, yeah, that's about it. Leo?
Yeah, for me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. But more importantly, follow these awesome people. Look for Massacre Academy. And also head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find all the shows on the network. And with that, we'll catch you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.